So I saw a post, a YouTube post, just a thumbnail that said degrees don't matter. And that to said if you're a student, start a business. I was like, this is so true. I didn't bother care to see what everything, not everything said. If you're a student, start a business. Degrees don't matter. You're seeing this video because the way the algorithm is set up, it's almost as if you see only what you need and you see only what you like. So certain videos will be suggested to you. You probably have not seen any of my videos before now, and you're seeing this one. For this is how you're meeting me. But we've made over 500 videos before this one you're watching. But you're seeing this one because you have been getting the prompts to start a business since. I don't know, you're probably a student or you're not, but getting qualification to go and work in a system in certain countries, the job market has crashed in those places to where the people who are coming out to college degrees are no longer, they're not, you're not able to, the system is not able to absorb them. But let's even say there are jobs available for you to work. You sit in a classroom. Just look at the way the school job system is set up. You sit in a classroom to prove that you can sit down for hours. And you do it for a number of years. And then you're taught with every other person by a teacher conveniently once. Because the correct thing is to teach everybody at their pace so that they can all learn. But you are taught one time, and the IQ, let's assume that's even a test of IQ. Everybody's IQ is tested at the highest level. So if there are people in that classroom who can understand once, that is the standard everybody will be trained with. And that was designed for the convenience of the teacher. Then an exam is set, and when you're writing an exam or a test, you're asked to not discuss with the next person. And then you're given a degree at the end of all of this exercise over years, because you're programmed in that time. Then with that degree, of course, you can't get a job in this place until you submit this. And when your employer looks at that thing you're giving them, this just tells them that you've sat in a place, you have followed instructions, you've this for this long, so you qualify to now work in this place. Because most of the time, what you went to school to study, you're going to work in another, but you're going to work in an industry that sometimes is not even related to what you studied in school. So it's not even like there was a training that you went through that you are now going to apply the skills. That's not even what's happening. What's happening is that you're showing a certificate that says, I have been programmed by the system. I can work in this system obediently without jamming into the wall so much. That's what that whole system says. But that's not even the point of this video. People who have businesses are the ones who can avoid paying taxes because of tax returns. So what it means is the burden of tending to the masses that's on the government. The government rewards you for helping them out. And starting a business is not as simple as starting a business. Many a time, you may need to copy some people's businesses and try and see. So if you don't have the skill of advertisement, the skill of sales, the skill of marketing, the skill of saving, and getting your hands dirty with what it takes to run a business and let it grow and succeed, you may not be in a good place to take that risk when you just started life. Secondly, if a student start a business, what that thing meant to me when I saw it was, as a student, you have the opportunity to try things and fail. That's just what the counsel is for students. So while you're a student, there's no pressure on you really, depending on where you're coming from anyway, to succeed in business. So that is the best time, the best window to do the trial and error with everything, whether you're copying businesses, whether you're starting ideas you had in your mind, whether you whatever it is, but you're thinking business wise, you're thinking income statement, balance sheet, staff salary. You're thinking in that way because you're a student, you're busy, so you're not the one who's necessarily running the business, but you're supervising it, and there's somebody helping you to keep it going, depending on what it is, the space or the industry you want to try the business in. But you have enough time. So if you're a student right now, this is your sign. Go and start all those businesses that you're thinking about or you've thought about. Some of you can even go as far as hanging your nuts and raising money. You know, but do it within what is legally safe. But you want to make those attempts now, so that by the time you're out of school with the degree you have, so you don't get the shock of finding out that you're going to be underpaid, you don't enjoy the thing you're doing, you don't feel alive when you're at work, or there's even no job for you. You don't know where you're watching us from. You know, it's always better to fall back to a job when you've tried some of these things than be so scared that you walk into. You're not going to enjoy working for anybody. Nobody enjoys working for anybody. Nobody. Nobody. No human being likes to be controlled, but we have been programmed to tolerate it. But nobody really likes it. So we already know that you will not have satisfaction in the place you work. You will not. You will manage it. Because you are trained in school already to adjust to a lot of things, to adjust to your colleagues, to adjust to what the teacher is doing that's not correct, that you don't even agree with, to not question a lot of things. You only ask questions when you're asked to ask questions. You cannot beg to object. You know, you have to be at a particular place at a particular time. So you've been trained to work in this system. So you have the coping mechanisms with you that you can pull, but it doesn't mean that you're completely entirely happy. So on the side, try everything. Whatever you take, is your sign. I'm just telling you everything. All the statement is everything, every single thing that comes to your mind that has the potential to make money that you've seen that people are successful in. Even some of the ones that are not monetizable yet. You're probably first generation streamers. These streamers redefine content creation. So the first group of people who started doing the streaming thing, where did they get the idea from? They just went with the flow of how they felt. So go with the flow, do it a lot. Allow yourself to fly after school. Since you're already in school, allow your mind to go. Real life is not as cagey as the school and the job system, job market. Real life is you're committed to sell something to somebody. You're committed to call somebody and tell them you have a product, and they're committed to say no to you that they will not buy. And then you're in that training of learning to accept all the no's so that you can get all the yeses that will make you the money. So make all those attempts, all of it. This is your sign. Start a business. Start businesses. That's my edit to that statement. Not one business. You don't want to have that emotional attachment to anything. You want to give every business the opportunity to fail. Don't judge those things in your mind and say they will not work because of your weaknesses, what is peculiar to you, the overthinking you have, the skepticism, the pessimism. You don't want to subject this. I like to call an idea an embryo. Before a woman finds out that she has missed her period, she already has a baby growing in her. And in that window, that's where the people who still take alcohol will now give their children fetal alcohol syndrome in the future. Because the child is so tiny. I used to say, when you take a crown cup of liquid and pick a tincture of bread and throw inside it, you see how the thing disappears because it soaks and goes. When you take a whole loaf of bread and put in a crown cup, you see, you don't even notice that there's water. The water touched the bread, And I like to say the embryo is there. So a very little quantity of whatever liquid will completely soak and affect, But when the child is grown, most of these drugs and things don't affect the child, formatively speaking. So the same way, when the idea is in embryo stages, or you don't want pessimism, judgment, judgmentality, if there's a word like that. You know, if you're a judgmental person, what's the other word? What's the other thing I said? Doubt. If you're somebody who is overly critical, you overthink. You don't want to bring those types of energy around a new idea or around an idea. You know, those things are good for products like an iPhone that is at 17. 17 means 17 editions of it. It has been edited a couple of times. It's critical thinking. You know, it is those use those things to edit ideas you've launched. You don't use those things to come around ideas. You kill those ideas before they are even launched. You know, and everything I just said is relatively safer to try when you don't have those pressures. That people who are now in, you're now, you know how you're at a certain age and you are supposed to fend for yourself. You know, your bills are now on you. And then you're even falling in love with somebody who you probably also fend for. When you're in that window now, you're going to be a bit cagey with some of the money that gets into your hand. You'll not have the freedom of taking risks. Because that's where the word comes from, taking risks. You know, you're now scared because you don't know where the next meal will come from. You don't know where with that bill. You know, so you are now holding your money so much, and then you don't benefit from the reward that comes with taking risks. When you're in school and people are paying your bills, you're with your parents, you know, you're feeding for free, and then you're making some money from anywhere, whether it's money that was given to you, whether it's somebody you told you have an idea, whatever it is, you don't have pressure. So it's very healthy to try all the ideas you have, you know. And it's not just about trying novel ideas. You can also literally start businesses that are already, you know, that already work. Only that you now need to have your sales and marketing skill up, you know, to be able to, and some of those other saving money, reinvesting, all those other disciplines, you have to also practice those things. So by the time you're done with school, you're an employer of labor. You can help some of your classmates get going.